All right, everybody. Well, happy New Year. First and foremost, this is our first episode of the new year. John, Teeds, happy New Year. How was it for you and the family?
It could have been better. I got sick
Oh, no.
probably like the Saturday morning before,
Ah,
New Year's Eve,
bummer.
which was Sunday. Felt a sore throat coming. I was like, okay, it's nothing crazy, but it's just annoying. It's like
Oh, yeah.
seriously, like now I'm getting sick. So then I was sick Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I took Tuesday off as well, so I had like about a week and a half off, and then Monday comes around. I think it's Monday. No, no. Okay, whatever it was, Carter ends up getting croup, which is like a crazy cough thing for kids and babies and things like that. And that was tough because we had to like get like this like steroid injection for him to help him
Is that like
break it or whatever.
is that like the heavy mucus cough?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he was just in pain. You could tell he had a sore throat. He didn't want to eat. He didn't want to drink. He was just in like really irritated all day. And then he's been like that the last like 3 days. It's been tough, dude. And then because he got sick after me, probably,
Yeah.
and it was just like, come on, man. But besides that, like the Christmas was great. Seeing the Browns clinch the playoffs 2 days after that, that was awesome. Uh, and then we got sick, and I'm like, dang it, man. Like, could have done
Yeah.
without that. But what about you guys? How you guys been? How'd you guys?
It was good. Holidays was nice. I mean, we just did a lot of traveling. I mean, we had a nice little get together here on the 24th at the house, and um we announced that we will be having a second baby.
What? Congrats. That's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, still keeping it a little hush hush, so,
When?
don't have
What's the dates? What's the dates?
I think it's going to be probably August.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exciting. Speaking of that, one of my buddies who was in my fantasy football league, he just hit me up like 4 days ago. He's like, hey, we're expecting, do you guys like what do you guys do with like baby childcare and stuff like that since you're like right next to us in the area? And then I checked his Instagram and he posted like back in November that they were expecting, and I just didn't even see it. And I was
Oh,
like he's not someone that I see all the time, but like still, like it didn't even show up on my feed, or at least where I was looking. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. I didn't even say like congrats. I didn't even see it, and but that's crazy, dude. Congrats. That's awesome.
thanks, dude. Thanks, man. Yeah, we're pretty excited. I'm definitely excited. But I mean, it was good. So we kind of sprung that surprise on the family. Everyone was like, "Oh my god! Like already, already! Holy shit!" I'm like, it just happened. Like it just happened. Um, but we were super stoked to honestly, we were so stoked to go out Sunday or Saturday night. Wait, New Year's was on Sunday night. We were gonna go out to
Mhm.
one of Isis's friends, um, little like get together. We were like excited. Then grandma calls and is like, "Hey, sorry, I'm not gonna be able to come over tonight. Like, I'm not feeling well." And I'm like, oh. But then it turned out to be super fun. We ended up going to the Discovery Bay Museum on Sunday in Sausalito, and they did like an afternoon celebration for the kids, which was super sick. Like I was just like, wow, like this
That's
this is
nice.
awesome. So we were out there. She was playing in the park. I had to go crawling into a tunnel because she got stuck. Um,
Gosh dang it. Gosh dang
yes.
it.
Well, it was so funny because Isis was literally like, "Don't let her go in there. She's gonna get stuck. She's gonna get too like she's not gonna know what to do." I'm like, "She's fine. She's watching all the other kids go." And all of a sudden, she just stops in the middle and she like sits down, and then she's just like, "Dada." And I'm like, "Oh no!" And so she's like taking the little wood chips, and she's like, and I'm like, "No, no, no!"
Get
So
her.
like I
No.
so I like crawled in, and then I'm like, "All right, get on my back," and we're like moving back, and she's laughing, but that was cool. They did like right when it hit 12 p.m. They were just like, boom, all these they
That's
dropped like
awesome.
the ball. They did like a confetti blast. Like it was super fun. And we tried to do like a little celebration at home, and then baby went to sleep by like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and Isis and I just stayed up and watched movies, and then we watched the fireworks show that was going on in San Francisco, and then that was it. And then we just
Dude,
went to bed.
we were over at friends or at Stephanie's family's house, and we did like a fake countdown of like 8, and it was
Yeah,
awesome. Carter got the assignment. He literally was like clapping, and he was like, "Woo!" And it was
yeah,
like that was hilarious. Well done. Okay, exciting there.
yeah.
And
I saw
then
that video. That was pretty cute.
he didn't
Yeah,
even know what was going on, but I was like, dude, New Year's is so freaking overrated. Like, give me the 9 o'clock
for
that I
sure,
can watch on East Coast, and
sure.
I'll celebrate then. Like, I don't
Yeah,
care. It's
yeah.
a new day,
I think we'll
and
see. Like going into that, like I think obviously, like for you and I when we were younger, yeah, it was like I want to get hammered. I want to have a headache going into the next year. Like now, you know, I was talking like with my dad, and my dad was like, how are you feeling about everything? I'm like, having a kid is like simplifies things. It's really made me kind of look more at like the moments, right? Like as much as I love to go play golf, like literally I was gonna go play this weekend and I just canceled my tee time because I was like, I just want to hang out. I just want to hang out with Isis and the baby. Like I just want to do that. I have a great round set up next week with my dad. I'll film that. Like I don't want to miss out on whatever's gonna go on today.
mhm.
So, it's just like I just want to be there, and it's cool and I love it. And yeah, you're totally right. Like I personally, sorry for the race car. I totally just want to just get done with my day, get my sleep, and know that I have to be up at like 6 to get to wake her up and
Yeah.
do her stuff, or her waking me up with the monitor. But
Mhm.
I'm happy to hear everything's good. I wish you and you, Stephanie and Carter, the best for 2024. Like I'm super happy with everything that we've done. Like it's just the start. We're just getting. I think we're just kind of catching our stride here, and um, in going into golf, dude. What a drop of news coming from Nike and Tiger today. I mean, we kind of said that this was coming in our last
Mhm.
episode.
Oh
We
yeah.
like we kind of called it saying like, well, what does this mean? And you're already seeing the ripple effect. Like a lot of people are getting rid of certain things that had TW because it's not worth anything, right?
Mhm.
Like if
Yeah.
Tiger takes it, like it may be redesigned. It may
Yeah.
like it might not even be anything, but I've been seeing it all over. I mean, what do you think? Do you think that this means that Nike is no longer going to be in the golf game?
Yeah. I mean, you bring up a good point. Tiger Woods literally put Nike on the map, just like Jordan did with Nike. Again, even for
Mm-hmm.
basketball, Tiger Woods did that with golf. Like made them had them have the top golf balls, had them have the top golf clubs, have them have the top apparel, the top shoes, the
Yeah,
number one in like all of those categories in golf, which
yeah,
it never even touched. You know,
yeah.
the pinnacle. And now without Tiger, and I was actually looking at his what was it his yearly salary that he averaged was like is almost like 20 million bucks a year. You know, just with Nike. And within the last few years, they got rid of their golf clubs, so that's something that they don't have anymore. Now it's strictly just apparel, and even golf balls, they don't have those anymore. Those are completely
Mm-hmm.
gone. So they are slowly taking themselves off of the
Out.
market.
Yep.
And I think, yeah, I think that it could be a slower decline because there's not going to be anybody that holds that standard or keeps it as pristine as Tiger Woods did, no matter who it is.
I wouldn't. I agree with some of the things you said. Like, I think they wanted just to kind of see what was going to be. I think everything that Tiger brought with the clubs, the balls, obviously we know how good Nike is within the shoe market. I mean, their
Hmm.
designs and stuff were light years ahead of everybody else. I mean, Tiger's original shoe kind of disrupted um the standard shoe that we were all accustomed to with like the Oxford type, dress shoe
Hmm.
style. I mean, he came in with
Yep.
something sporty, something that was like totally different,
Tennis
looked more
shoe.
like an athletic shoe.
Yep. Yep.
The
100%.
apparel, the apparel part, his stuff was good, but in the early, in his early years, it was big, and to most people, it's not my style. But then once he started coming out with the more fitted stuff, and then he removed the collar, and the PGA was like, no, you got to have a collar, you got to have some type of thing, right?
Tyler's
I mean,
like, okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah, he did a lot of things, and I feel like they tested how far they could go with certain things because, yeah, whatever Tiger's playing, people want to play. I mean, it's crazy when I still hear that Nike Sasquatch get off a tee box in the morning. I'm like, who is that guy? And so now it's
What a
it's the same
specimen.
thing. Yeah, literally. Now it's like the same thing with with TaylorMade. When TaylorMade dropped the TWs, I mean, those moved quick, and also they were back on the rack super quick because people were like, I just can't hit these, So I'm
Yeah.
I'm predicting that Tiger Tiger's probably going to end up starting his own deal. I guarantee it. I mean, you're seeing a lot of new clubs kind of come out into play, and I wouldn't be surprised if he now where he's at, if he ends up starting his own brand and basically like a lot like Lab, right? Like come and get
Mm.
fitted for stuff, like you want to play my type of irons, like we can give you, MBs, but here's a different series. Like, and I'm curious, like, I wouldn't be surprised with all the money he has. Who's stopping him from going and buying, maybe recruiting some people from Homa, from Mizuno, right?
Who
Clubs that
wouldn't want
he's
to work with
loved.
Tiger Woods, right? Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, and again, like I mentioned, like Nike, he owns that logo. So him taking that, he puts that on something. It's people gravitate towards it, and just
That's
because it's
gold,
Tiger,
man. Yeah.
yeah, it's a gold stamp. It's a golden ticket, as Willy Wonka
Yeah.
said, right? So it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I think a lot of people are kind of like, what is it?
I mean,
And
yes. Well, I was just gonna say, like, do you think that Tiger sticks with apparel, or do you think that he might go like the Jack Nicklaus route and like just start designing more courses?
ooh, that's he. You know what? He has been putting his stamp out there a lot more.
Yeah.
That I think is a big one. I think he might put new courses. Who knows? Maybe because he's still the PGA Golden Boy. Maybe him and Rory start. Maybe they actually start putting new courses on the PGA Tour.
Wouldn't that be something? That'd be cool.
I,
They need more
I
courses,
think
you know.
think about it. Like with their league coming out, right?
Hmm.
Who knows? Maybe it opens up new courses for them to go play on, right? I I,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's there's just so many different things, but the way that I see Nike, the way that I see Nike coming back from this is get back to the drawing board, get get back to doing some real designs on shoes if you want to stay in the golf game because regardless, Nike still comes out with great stuff. I mean, they're doing all this stuff with Jordan collaboration, Cactus
Hmm.
Jack, Travis Scott. It's like come out with something that's different again. Come out with
Yeah.
something that's going to look clean and just continue to do your thing there because the golf market definitely still loves Nike shoes. And
Just stay away from the Malbon pants that they had Jason Day wear
yeah,
this weekend at the Sentry, please. I'm
yeah,
begging you.
yeah,
Those
yeah,
are
exactly.
atrocious.
Exactly. Well, I saw Malbon did like a collaboration with Coca-Cola, and I'm just like, who wants to like take that bag or even use those head covers? I mean, it looks like I'm playing at like a I don't know, just their style is so hipster. It's so like
It's
hipster
like
like.
it's like a
It's like
weird
thrift
hipster.
shop meets it's like thrift shop meets golf.
Yeah, dude. It's definitely a Macklemore kind of a feel. You know, things
Yeah.
that he would like a 70s, 60s, 70s kind of look where if you were having a throwback movie from like let's say Caddyshack, boom, there you
Yeah.
go.
Perfect.
Like
Yep,
that's the
you're in.
perfect.
Yeah,
Hmm.
you're in.
But
You
21st
just need
century, yeah, we're into joggers now, bro.
maybe
Like, come
maybe
on.
for maybe for places like Indian Wells Country Club it makes sense.
Yeah,
But for someone at a Muni, it just seems a bit
over the top.
it seems a bit pretentious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, man. But so let's move into Live Golf and Roy McIlroy. I know I was talking to this offline, and apparently he was in an interview. I have not seen the full interview. I just seen little inserts of his responses about Live, and I've seen some quotes, and I've also seen some video of him saying it. So I know it's not just like a troll account that's just saying stuff completely different that you're like, oh my gosh, just trying to get a reaction out of somebody, and is actually legit. So Rory has said that apparently he's accepted that they are part of the sport, Live. I was maybe a little judgmental of the guys who went to Live Golf at the start, and I think it was a bit of a mistake on my part because I now realize that everyone in my position I'm sorry, because I realize that not everyone is in my position or Tiger's position. Duh, Rory. It's like if I were to get an option to go to Live, you're gonna hate on me for going to Live. I make like $70,000 a year. You're gonna hate on me? Like, come on, dude. I need the more money where I can get it. And then he continues to go. I've gone through the last 2 years with this altruistic approach where I've looked at the world the way I've wanted to see it. Ultimately, you can say what you want and do what you want, but at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to change people's minds. You're never going to make them decide based on what you say. I wouldn't say I've lost the fight against Liv, but I've accepted it for the fact that it is a part of our sport now. Instant thoughts. What do you think?
He's going to Live. Why not? I mean, at
How
this point,
funny would that be?
why
Oh
not?
my goodness.
Why not? Like again,
So,
he has stood his ground. He has stood his ground on every part of the PGA, and I get that. I commend that. Like, good for you, Rory. You know, like
mhm,
you want to show you want to show that you care about the sport, you care about the competition that the sport brings, and you understand the competitive nature of it. Like that's what golf was built on. I get that. Times are changing now.
mhm.
Why would you not want to take a crack at it?
Sounds like he's got $1 billion offer on the table if he's going to change his mind that quickly. I mean, like,
Yeah,
he also added onto it as well. He said, "I think what Liv has done, it has exposed the flaws of the system that golf has," and he was kind of surprised of how the PGA Tour was successful for so long because we're all supposed to be independent contractors and we can pick and choose what
and
tournaments we
they're
want to
not,
play.
and
Exactly,
they're
but
not.
but then he says, "But I think the Saudis and Liv have
It
exposed
comes.
us
I mean,
for
it comes
asking for
down to
millions
the
of dollars."
sponsors, right? Like
That's what he said.
once you
That's what
start getting
that.
sponsors and you have affiliated marketing within your contract, that is where you end up essentially like you have to make appearances. You have to be there. Now, obviously, being a competitor at Rory's at any PGA player's caliber, like you want to show up and put out, like you want to be a contender. I
Right.
think at this point now, with how much some of these guys have grinded, they're like, dude, yeah, like the PGA doesn't really do anything to truly like benefit us. And now that they're coming out with these dumb rules like the rollback, it's not bettering the game. And they're just showing again them who are in the front office are getting greedy. It's basically like in the Last Dance with Michael Jordan and that short little Jewish guy that was in the show, right? Like the front
Hmm.
office began to get greedy. They thought that they were the ones that made the championships, but you're not. It's the players. The players are the
Yep.
ones who are sacrificing and
Hmm.
grinding every single day for 6 hours. Actually, not yeah, for every single day leading up to those tournaments. So then that way, people like you and I, we want to go to these events. We want to go see
Hmm.
these guys play because that's what ultimately we strive for. I guarantee you, there's not a single person in those front offices who could play at that caliber or even get close to breaking 80.
I didn't show up to
Like
see a board member. I showed up to see Tiger Woods. I showed
exactly.
up to see the
Yeah.
top players of the
I
world. Yeah.
exactly. I didn't show up to see Jay Monahan. Like, and
Hmm.
again, that's another one where I think Rory is what he's speaking on. He sees it. Like he's like, dude, why am I being so loyal? Why am I being so loyal to a system that they've already exposed that they want the bag. Like they
Hmm.
want the
Hmm.
money. If Jay's gonna go do that, why wouldn't I?
And on top of it, you have John Rahm who just left, and he's like, okay, well, we're gonna do whatever we can to have John Rahm on our Ryder Cup team. There's no way we're not gonna get John Rahm off. So that definitely, excuse me, in my man, in my opinion, plays a part. Man, my coughs come at night, dude. It's so annoying.
You're good.
And so I feel like that also is something to think about on top of it is that he's doing whatever he can to kind of soften the blow for Liv to make it possible to add Liv guys on there. And you're just like, dude, like, come on, like that should have been on the table regardless. And I know Roy's kind of trying to say like, oh well, I was thinking about it out of my lens. Okay, well that's just saying like basically, I my thoughts on an opportunity of making money are not going to be the same compared to Jeff Bezos. You know, he's making trillions of dollars. So no matter what he does, it really is not going to affect him for the rest of his life because he's set. No matter what he does, there's very, very few things that he could do that'll ruin his life besides dying or getting killed, right? Like any
Yeah.
investments or things like that, he is set for life. For me, I really got to think about those because I am much more limited on the dollar than he is.
Mm-hmm.
And one like mistake could be much more detrimental to me than it would be to him. So like, how could you
Yep.
not think of that? Like at all just baffles me.
It's
I get it, more money, more problems, but I guess he had so many problems he just wasn't thinking about what other people were coming from.
I don't. I think you have a point, but also at the same time, I think it was just Rory being Rory. It was Rory being the honest, the true, the true competitor that he has always been his entire career, and to see his friends not agree with his thoughts, it was frustrating because he just felt like, you know what, everyone's against me in the room, but it's like I think it took him a while to kind of look in the mirror and be like, why am I not taking this? Or my second thought
Mm-hmm.
is this is all play, right? Like
Right.
this is something that when they had that meeting last year talking about the merger,
Mm-hmm.
they basically made a script saying, hey, we're going to get everyone in on this because we want to create as much hoopla as we possibly can around this because it's going to market and bring more people to want to watch both events. At the end of it, the merger will go through, but we're going to take care of our top guys. We're going to get John Rahm over. Next will be Colin Morikawa. Then will be Rory, and the final person is going to be Tiger, who's going to end up ultimately being the chairman of whatever league goes on. Right? It could totally play out that way, and it's going to shock the golf nation, dude.
Could
Like,
you imagine?
there's absolutely nothing from stopping it because think about all this stuff. Everyone's digging in so deep, but everyone's talking about the same things that you hear about. But when you think outside the box, like clearly the people have spoken when it comes to golf. The USGA is stupid. Like, sorry, I don't want to say that they're stupid, but some of their practices are not for the best of the game, right? Like you're just trying to stay relevant to continue to like put forth rules that don't apply to us.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't apply
Right.
to the weekend golfer. It maybe applied to the guy who plays maybe four times a week, but also plays in 20 tournaments a year. Who's
Mm-hmm.
trying to
Yeah.
compete, but not for your weekend warrior. Like no way, dude. Like that makes
Mm-hmm.
no sense. So it all could just be a huge play, and everyone who's biting into this has a hand up their butt, being a puppet. Like I'm telling you, it's I it's one of those things that just makes logical sense to me. It's like I know you're smart, like I know these guys are smart, but it's like who in their right mind is going to turn around or who's is going to turn down $600 million cash up front? Here you go. And
Not
being
many.
that all yeah, not many, and also being that a lot of these players, especially like a guy like John Rahm, who's from, originally from Spain,
Mm-hmm.
why would you not just put that into your Spain account? Doesn't get touched.
Well,
It's
that's the
money
thing.
that
I mean,
just
like I mean, at that point, and even
that
before that, when you're a top guy,
yeah,
you can live the Rob Gronkowski. I was with the Rob
yeah,
Gronkowski lifestyle, where he
Gronkowski.
never touched his salary money and only lived off his promotion money because he could,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
he's a lot smarter than people think. He plays off that persona. I've
Yep.
also heard it's just totally irrelevant.
1000%, dude. It's
Paris Hilton, I've heard, is very smart. She plays the persona really well that she's done on
yeah,
purpose, but that's because that's what makes her the money. And apparently
that's
she's
like Kim
really, really
Kardashian.
smart.
Look at
Exactly.
Kim.
And
Look at Kim Kardashian. Apparently, Kim
so,
Kardashian is absolute business savant. Apparently,
really,
that's what I hear.
is what she wants people to think. And
Yeah,
now that
that
we're
too.
diving in, And now that we're diving into this, now hear me out here. This is a crazy conspiracy that I've been thinking about for years and years and years. Ivy League schools. Gosh, man, my freaking cough. Ivy League schools. The whole thing is always like, oh man, they're like the best schools. They give you the best education. They're the hardest to get into. I have a theory from no basis at all, just on my own, that like once you get into school, it's super easy. They have super easy classes because they want everyone to get straight A's, but it's super hard to get into because so many people have apply every year, so they only give you the top minds. And so because of that, they can pick from the cream of the crop every single year. And on
Mm-hmm.
top of that, it does, and then you get in, you're like, oh, cool. This math class is like really easy, or like this history class is like really simple because they like, oh, I got straight A's, or oh, you must be really smart. You're getting straight A's at Harvard. Like, yeah, it's like, okay, but we got to keep it secret though. We can't be telling people that it's easy. You got to be telling people, oh
Yeah.
man, I was studying all night. But I don't know. That's just a weird little conspiracy that I
No,
thought
no,
about. It's like, how crazy would that be? Like,
it's
a little
it's
fraternity.
yeah, it's funny because like I'm not gonna say his name, but I had a friend. I had a friend that he went to school with, or we played baseball against him. Me and Bronze and everybody. Um, he went to Stanford, played football, and so when I was at when I was over in Santa Clara, we met up for lunch a few times. I'm like, dude, how are you handling like your workload for school? And he's like, bro, he's like, it's it's cake. I was like, what do you mean it's cake? He goes, we got tutors, like we have people who like will go and take notes for us in our class, but he's
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
we do have to do the assignments, like we do have to do the assignments, we do have to do the studying, but we have resources to like help us out, and he's like, because everything we do for football is football. Like he's like, I have to be in video or like in
Film.
film, yeah, in film at like this time, and I have to be there at least 15 minutes early, which means that I can't leave my class early because then the teacher books or gets me in trouble. But he's like, we have like these little things that we hold in our backpacks that when we sit in our chair, we just like tap it and it says that we're here. But he's like, we have people who go and will take notes, film the class, do whatever, and then we just have a massive study hall. And I was like, what? Like that's insane, dude. I was like, I don't even have that. I have to be at every class and I have to make sure that I'm doing something. And if I'm not there, like I have to go onto Blackboard and join the class virtually,
Oh,
and
Blackboard.
sometimes I'll be sitting like right there in the quad or like in the library and my internet won't even connect. Like it sucks. He's like, yeah, bro, we don't have to worry about that here. And I was like, wow. So I'm sure there's some systems. I mean, obviously some have been outed for it, like LSU, where you don't even need to go to class. Like you have
Well, same
people,
with
they literally Florida,
dude.
University of Florida, and all those guys too. But
Yeah, dude.
yeah, it's just again, like you and I have had conversations about this where it it's just a name, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
how much did you really take away from it? Nothing, you know. And
Yeah.
you end up just falling into a place because you have a nice name on your resume, but can you
Mm-hmm.
truly do it? No.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So golf related, you're coming out in a few weeks. We're gonna be trying to shoot 10 under. I don't know. Should we go for like 15? I don't know. It depends on the weather, but I think 10 under is a good number.
Where are we playing from? The Blues
We're playing
again?
for no the
For the
Wayback teams,
Waybacks?
dude.
I
Waybacks,
think
yeah.
I think 10 will
The
be a good
goal.
number. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, because you got to think we play from the Blues and I think we shot even or
No.
something like that, one under, two under. I
Whoa,
don't
wait.
even remember.
With me and you.
Yeah, when we did the
With
front
me and
nine.
you. I think it was either 3 or 4 under.
Okay, but
Just with
still,
two.
like that's. I mean, we're talking another. We're talking at least another.
1,000 yards.
Yeah, I mean another 100 yards off of every tee box, basically.
The par
Like
threes are going to be tough.
the par threes will be tough.
Like 16 over water. That one is going to be like 240 yards.
Yeah,
And so like I think the toughest ones are for sure going to be the par threes because a minimum of like 200, 230, 240, 250. And if we just par those, we're going to set ourselves up for going low because hopefully we'll be able to have Corey.
Mm-hmm.
And my other buddy Kyle was going to join, but he's going to Disneyland with his family. So I was like, dang it.
Cool.
You
Cool.
literally told me you were able to take off any day, give you a couple weeks notice. I did. And you run me like this? Like, so I reached out to my buddy Brandon, who has the course record on the Wayback Tees at Dragonfly of 3 under on his own. And he's like, I'll let you know. That's usually his day off, or he gets like one day off and it's a Sunday normally. But I was like, dude, if you could be there, that'd be freaking sick. We would love to have
Yeah,
you out there. And then that would be a lot of fun. And then I got a brand new camera. This thing
I
is going to
saw
be
that.
sick.
Nice.
So short story, we got checks in the mail from the apartments that we used to live at before we moved into our house because somebody sued our apartment complex for overcharging them on their their security deposits. So
Oh,
something happened where a class action lawsuit happened, and we made I got like $700. Stephanie got like $900, and then we were like, "What?" So I was like, what do I need?" And I was like,
that
"Dude,
was
okay."
that was a quick spend there, Johnny.
Oh no, dude, I always got things in my mind of, but like
Yeah, I
Christmas
could
came
tell.
around. No, but that was right around Christmas time, and I had things planned. No, that's what it was. So this is what happened originally. I won one of my fantasy football leagues. So I'm like, cool. I got $300. What am I gonna use that on? I wasn't expecting anything. I won. Okay, and then I was like, okay, you know what? Ooh, I'm gonna get some mics. So I was gonna get some of those DJI mics, those like legit ones that are perfect, and that was the plan. And then these checks come in, and I'm like, huh, okay, let's and then I was like, dude, I really want to get away. I love the GoPro, but I don't like how you can't zoom in on shots. Like if you watch Busted Jack, you watch Bob Does Sports, they swing and then they zoom up on the shot so you could like see the ball drop and things like that. Looks a lot more clean, in my opinion, than just a
Hmm.
standard thing that's sitting there. So I'm like, let's go with that. And we'll see. We'll see how it works. I can't wait. I can't wait. It's gonna be a fun time.
I mean, if you want somebody to zoom in when I film you hitting your shot, I'll just start running.
Yeah, but
Just,
it won't make it. You'll
Just be like
be
this.
one
Just be
hole.
bouncing the whole
Julio was just in the fairway, just passed out.
yeah, yeah. But no, man. I was gonna say, did you also? So, still going back to live. Did you
Uh-huh.
see what happened to Henry Varden and how he got arrested for a DUI?
Who?
Varden, whatever that guy's name is. The um,
Harry
is
Varden
it?
is like the 1920s, 1910 like golfer.
What's that? Yeah, you're right. The guy who played against we met. But
Yep.
who's the? He's the black guy. He wears all the Jordan stuff.
Harold Varner.
Harold Varner. There you go.
I
Henry
did. I
Varner.
did. It was actually closer than I expected. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
It was a lot closer than I expected.
yeah.
But I did see that he did get a DUI, but I don't know. Did you hear
I didn't
anything about
hear.
it besides that?
I didn't. No, I didn't hear anything that had happened. That's what I was going to ask. Is did you hear
No.
like what the final verdict was? Because I was like, man, that's got to stink. Because if that was PGA, like you're in trouble. You're on suspension for a little while. But I wonder how Liv handles that.
Quick little slap on the wrist, and all right, get back out
Yeah,
there, kid. We need you.
yeah, get on.
We
Yeah,
need
yeah.
you.
Are you going to be able to compete on Saturday with the team? It's the
How much
final
is the
day.
bail? How much is the
Yeah,
bail?
exactly. We need you to be
Um,
there.
dude. But did you watch any of the Sentry this weekend or last weekend? Should I say?
I didn't. No, I just saw a few highlights. I saw that Kevin Kisner like jumped on the announcement table for a little bit. I saw the shot that Max Homa hit. That
Like
was
a
like almost
470 yards or whatever, because it was all downhill,
yeah.
downwind,
It
and all
was
that stuff. And
well, it was 400 yards, but then I saw one that was like one of the par threes where I guess last year he hit a shot that was like on the edge, and then he hits another shot that's maybe like a foot away from the hole, and he was like, "Oh my god!" Like they really thought it was going to go in,
yes,
and
I saw that one too. I saw that one too.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But
Um,
that was all that I saw. I didn't see
I
much else.
mean, I watched some of it, and it was pretty entertaining. I mean, it was cool to see golf back on again, and apparently they changed the rules. Originally, this first tournament was always called the Sentry Championship, where you had to be a winner on the PGA Tour at least one time to be eligible for that tournament the next year. This year, you could be a winner plus the top 50 are eligible for this tournament, which I thought was okay, but I kind of thought it was cool to have, one tournament where everybody won last year, and that was the only way for you to get on. I thought that was really cool. The winner this year was Chris Kirk. I think it was Chris Kirk. That's how you say it. Yeah, Chris Kirk.
Yeah.
He shot 29 over. And by over, I mean under. That was terrible. 29 under. But the crazy thing was top 25 was sitting at 20 under. You were tied 25 if you shot 20 under. And like if you watch these holes, which I've seen, I'm sure Kapalua, you've seen the tournaments, how long that course is, and you're still shooting 20 under and being 25th. Like that's just insane on any PGA Tour event.
That's gotta hurt. I mean, in my opinion, that's gotta hurt. I mean,
you had a great weekend. You had a great weekend.
That's a great weekend, but somebody played even better, which is insane.
Yeah, and then the cool thing was I saw also on top of that was, so I mean I doubt this is gonna happen, but they said 2 years ago, Cam Smith won the Sentry, left for live the next year. Last year, John Rahm won the Sentry, left for live that year. They're saying, Chris Kirk, are you thinking of making a move for $5 million? A cool $5 million?
I mean, why? Again, kind of going back to our conversation. Why aren't more people going? Right? I mean, you get a nice insurance pay that you would probably never see unless you were Tiger back in the early 2000s. It's just like,
right.
I mean, do you want to continue to do that, or do you want to just have fun? I mean, you've hit a point to where you're so good at your profession that even like in this last tournament, you shoot 20 under, but someone shot 9 shots better than you. Like, I mean,
freaking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what what's that guy's name? Block.
Yeah, Michael Block.
Michael Block said after he got done playing in that tournament, right? He's like, I played my absolute best. Like, I don't think I could have played any better, and I still was tied for 15th. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's insane, dude. Like, yeah, it's insane where it's like, if you're one person who's on, it's like everyone else could be just as hot or better, Yeah,
that's the crazy thing about golf is like they always say that like the pros are really good at hanging around, and then like when they find it, they're good, instead of being that person where they're hanging around is just getting pars. My hanging around is bogey, maybe like a par. Yeah. But then like when you're feeling it, then you're like, okay, then I have that confidence back, because if you're like hanging around is better than my hanging around, you have a better chance already, because you're going to start yourself and set yourself up for success in a better spot than me.
Well, I remember playing at I think it was Castlewood Country Club over in Livermore, and I forget what school was out there. It was either like San Jose State or maybe even no, it wasn't Chabot. I forget what school was out there, but their short game, the coach was like purposely putting them in areas where it was just like, super hard shots. Like you're behind a tree or close to a tree that's going to impact your swing. You're still trying to get close to the hole to either make it or walk away with the par. And I just remember sitting there and like I literally just had put my bag down and just sat at the little bench, and I was just watching these shots, like, and seeing the confidence and the crispness in which these guys were hitting shots. And I'm like, see, like that for like people like you and I, where you're like, oh man, I missed the green. Like, I'm just going to walk away with a par here. Right. But then it's like, no, you still go into it and you're like, I could make this. There's a possibility I could make this, and it's just staying focused and just hitting that shot like you would as if you're at 150 yards and just being like, all right, just swing it and put it there. Find the middle of the green, right? Yeah. Now you're just trying to hit to a spot and hopefully it does what you think it's going to do. But that's like, I just remember seeing that and I was just like, wow,
that's cool.
Like, that's pretty awesome. Yeah.
I mean, is there, okay, I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to answer it to give you a second to think about it. Are there any particular golf shots that you wish you would practice on the range, but you just never really think about until you're on the course and you're like, dang. For me, that would be a punch shot. Punch shots where I don't know, like if I need to go like 40 yards under a tree, and I can't go up and I just have to run it up there. I have no idea how fast my ball's coming out. I have no idea what a good loft is. I know how to hit a punch shot. I know how to get it out of there. I just don't know what a good speed is. I had one at Madera Golf and Country Club, clipped it perfectly, but hit about 100 yards past the hole. Like, oh boy, okay. Don't do that too often. I don't practice that shot. But is there like any kind of shot that you could think of, maybe not so much for you since you're more in the fairway and give yourself an opportunity, but something that you don't practice, but when you're on the course, you're like, dang, I wish I would remember sometimes to give myself an opportunity to at least have a couple shots. So when I get here, I'm not kind of like, crap, what's the real play? Like I know what to do, but I just have no feel for this shot.
Yeah, I'd have to say anything from my 60 to 80 yard shot.
Okay.
I think those are the hardest shots for me because I try and put it right at the pin. And of course, I'm like, oh,
Mm,
yeah, I'm just going to go with a 58 degree here. And then I
mm-hmm,
end up hitting it a bit fat,
mm,
or I put a little too much on it and I fly it past, 70 yards and then it just rolls off. I wish I practiced those shots more because I just want to be able to have the confidence and just like clip it, right? Like
mm-hmm,
hold it
mm-hmm.
off and be able to get that shot where it flies the number, bites and comes back, or hit it in front, get it to bounce and release a little bit.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing for me is to commit with that 58 degree, but I have a better I have better success taking my 54, opening the face a little bit, putting it in front of my stance, and just like going either rib cage to rib cage or hip to hip, and
Mm.
just holding it because I don't get the action that I would get from my 58. But
That's more controlled
yeah, but I'm more controlled, and my miss is a
or
lot. It's
less.
a lot. Yeah, it's a lot less. But if I'm long, I'm middle of the green. So it's like,
Mm.
okay, worst case scenario is I walk away with a two putt. But
Mm-hmm.
I think as you've seen, like my putter's not bad. You
Right.
know, I'm pretty confident when I roll it. But that's always been like the struggle. I mean, I've dialed it down to 60 and 80 because like from like before,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 5 years ago, like 120 to 100 yards, man, I couldn't touch a green. I would try and swing as hard as I could. I would try and swing as hard as I could with like a 58 or a 60 degree. And sometimes it'd be spot on, other times thin, fat, like have no idea. I'm just like, like what am I doing? And then it wasn't until I read a quote by, I think it was Ben Hogan, who said like, I would bet any amount of money for a guy who full swings wedges.
Yep. I
And
saw that too. Yep.
yeah, and I was like, that makes sense. And then what I started doing from 100 yards is I would take my 50 degree, or I would take
Yep.
my pitching wedge,
Yep.
and I would literally
Mm-hmm.
just bump it
Three
up there. And I'm
quarters.
like,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I would just bump it up there. But like what you said, it took time because sometimes you're like, holy shit, like that came out so hot, and then
Mm-hmm.
other times you're like, ooh, that was saucy. Like,
Yeah. Right.
Daddy's got the mittens. Daddy's got the mittens.
Soft mitts. Yep.
Yeah, soft mitts. But that dude, I can't tell you the thoughts that run through my head when I'm at 60 or when I'm at 60 to 80 yards. I'm like, don't don't mess this up. Don't suck. Don't suck. Like
Right.
it's like keep your head down, keep your balance, just get through the swing. And then all of a sudden I set it. And sometimes I'll press and like I'll feel my club get stuck and I'm like, stop, 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 stop. And then I step off and I try and do it again. I'm like, oh my God, dude, like what is going on right now? It's it's the worst, bro. I can't stand
That's
it.
golf, baby. Man,
Yeah.
that is golf. But I feel like that's a good spot to wrap up the podcast tonight. First podcast of 2024. Unless there's something Julio wants to tap into real quick.
Nah, man. I think yeah, I'm excited for the 21st, excited to get out there and play.
Yep.
Yeah, I think other than that, just gonna play Gonna play some golf with my dad next weekend at Winty Vineyards. Super pristine course over in Livermore. So it'll be a little bit of a drive,
Nice.
but I'm excited. So my dad's
Dope.
excited to show me his new driver.
Ooh, that's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you guys for all your support and Happy New Year. And we'll see you next time. Don't forget to stay fly and go low.